What is happening, my fellow knights and nobles? It's King Rome, and I'm back with another episode of Grandstand Fan. Now, today we're going to get into the history of Formula One. It's going to be a bit of a crash course. Get it? Crash course? Because the cars.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But I promise I'm going to make this as painless as possible. So you know the drill. Let's get into it. Now, I know what you're thinking. But King Rome, you said in the last video that you're going to tell us about 2026 in this video. And I get that. And I'm sorry, I lied.
Liar!
But I wouldn't be doing my job as a teacher if I didn't teach you about the history of Formula One first. But don't worry, I'll have this all wrapped up in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Let me take you back to 1946. Formula One's story begins right after World War II, when Europe was rebuilding, celebrating their victory over Germany, and motorsports was finding its identity again. The FIA created a new set of rules in 1946 called Formula A, which soon became Formula One. These rules standardized engine sizes, car layouts, and safety expectations, and laid the foundation for what would become the world's premier racing championship. By the 1950s, the first official Formula One World Championship season had launched. The opening race was held at a former World War II air base that was converted into a racetrack that is known today as Silverstone, the mecca of F1. The early years were dominated by Italian engineering and legendary drivers like Giuseppe Farina and Juan Fangio. Fangio, in particular, became the sport's first true superstar, winning 5 world titles with 4 different teams, a record that stood for nearly half a century. As the 1950s rolled into the 1960s, the sport evolved at a breathtaking pace. Teams like Ferrari, Lotus, and Cooper pushed innovation to new levels. Cooper revolutionized the sport by moving the engine behind the driver, a mid-engine layout that every F1 car still uses today. Lotus, led by this suave guy, Colin Chapman, introduced lightweight chassis designs and aerodynamic wings, proving that clever engineering could beat raw horsepower. But this era also exposed the dangers of the sport. Safety was almost non-existent, and the 1960s and early 70s saw far too many fatal accidents, most notably Niki Lauda's crash at the Nürburgring, aka the Green Hell, a track notorious for crashes. This led to major changes: better circuits, improved barriers, fireproof suits, and eventually the introduction of medical teams and safety cars. Drivers like Jackie Stewart became vocal advocates for safety, helping transform F1 into a more responsible and professional sport. By the 1980s, Formula One entered what many fans consider the golden era. Turbocharged engines produced outrageous power, sometimes over 1,000 horsepower in qualifying, and rivalries became legendary. The 80s was littered with rivals, whether it was Magic and Bird, Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, or even Michael Jackson and Prince. There was no shortage of them, and F1 was no different. Epic battles between Alan Prost and Ayrton Senna defined the decade, blending genius, controversy, and unforgettable racing moments. Technology also took a leap forward with the introduction of a carbon fiber chassis, advanced electronics, and early forms of traction control. The 1990s brought even more sophistication. Drivers like Damon Hill, Mika Häkkinen, and the future 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher emerged as the next dominant force, combining relentless work ethic with technical precision. His partnership with Ferrari in the early 2000s created one of the most successful dynasties in sports history. In 2014, there was a seismic shift in Formula One as it entered the hybrid era. a major shift towards sustainability and efficiency. The new V6 turbo hybrid power units were some of the most advanced engines ever built, blending electrical power with traditional combustion. No team mastered this technology better than Mercedes, leading to a period of dominance powered by Lewis Hamilton, who surpassed many of the sport's long-standing records, including winning a total of 7 championships, tied with only Michael Schumacher as the most in F1 history. Today, Formula One is more global and more popular than ever. New races in the Middle East, the United States, and Asia have expanded the calendar. Social media and streaming services have brought millions of new fans into the sport. And new regulations introduced in 2022 aimed to create closer racing by simplifying aerodynamics and reducing dirty air. And they've since made even more changes to improve the on-track product dramatically in 2026. What hasn't changed is the essence of Formula One, the pursuit of speed, innovation, and human excellence. It remains the pinnacle of motorsport, a place where the world's best drivers and engineers push the limits of what's possible every single race weekend. As F1 continues to evolve, 2026 is gearing up to be a year of some of the biggest changes we've seen in a single year in a very, very long time.
Well, I hope I was able to help you learn something today. Hopefully you didn't get whiplash from that. If you like that video, please like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm serious this time. The next video, we're going to talk about all the major changes happening in F1 for the 2026 season. You guys stay safe, spread love. Until next time, my fellow knights and nobles, King Rome, I'm out.